All right, let's get right into it. In the 21st century, leadership is up against a silent but absolutely critical threat. And it's not a market crash or a supply chain issue. No, it's a system error that's happening inside the minds of our leaders.
So that leads to the big question, right? Is the very operating system of modern leadership glitching out? In this explainer, we're going to diagnose the problem and see if we can find a fix.
Well, the diagnosis has a name: the neurodigital crisis. And the core idea here is that the digital platforms we use every single day are fundamentally rewiring how leaders think and act. And that's creating some seriously dangerous habits that put entire companies at risk. But, okay, before we can really get what's broken, we've got to set the stage. What does great leadership even look like? Let's break down the two fundamental sides of the coin. And this table really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The difference between a manager and a leader. See, a manager keeps things running. They focus on systems, control, on doing things right. But a true leader, they innovate, they inspire trust, and they're obsessed with doing the right thing. Big difference. And we can zoom in even more on this. You've got your transactional leadership, which is basically a simple trade. You do this, I'll give you that. It's all about efficiency. But then you have transformational leadership. That's what drives real progress. It's about rallying people around a shared vision, empowering them to innovate and grow. And here's where the rubber meets the road today. True influence, real power, doesn't come from the title on your business card. It comes from what's called expert power. Influence you earn through your skills and your knowledge. It's earned, not just given. Okay, so we have our baseline of what good leadership looks like. Now, let's see how our digital world is warping that ideal. We're diving headfirst into the leadership crisis of the digital age. And this visual, wow, it really nails the core issue. The operating system in a leader's brain is literally being rewritten. We're shifting away from that cool, rational, strategic brain on the left to this new, pathological brain on the right, one that's driven by dopamine and is constantly just hunting for its next quick hit of stimulus. So how does this actually happen? It's all about the dopamine loop. It's literally like a slot machine in your pocket. You get a trigger, say a notification. That leads to an action. You check your phone. And the reward, a like, a comment, it's unpredictable. That variability is what makes it so addictive and creates this nonstop craving for more. And the consequences are terrifying. This isn't just about bad habits, folks. We're talking about what's described here as actual hardware damage. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for good judgment and impulse control, it gets worn down. And that leads to decisions made on autopilot, sudden flashes of anger, and a total blindness to massive risks. And if you want a cold, hard number to show just how bad this is, here it is. Our average screen focus time has absolutely tanked. Back in 2012, it was 75 seconds. Today, a mere 47 seconds. Our ability to think deeply is literally eroding before our eyes. You know, there's a huge human cost to all this too, an empathy deficit. The leader starts to see their team not as individual human beings, but as non-player characters or NPCs, like in a video game. They're just resources to help the leader win, with no stories or goals of their own. And this all builds up to the final boss, you could say, the ultimate pathology, the God mode myth. It's a syndrome where leaders, who are so used to the digital world of infinite lives and no consequences, start to believe they can operate that way in the real world. Rules, processes, basic human empathy. To them, it's all just a bug in the system that they can hack their way around. We're getting into the really heavy stuff now, so I just wanted to take a quick second and say, wherever you're watching from, if this is hitting home for you, do us a huge favor and like, follow, and share this explainer. It really helps us keep digging into these crucial topics. Right, so this isn't just some abstract theory. No, this has a real, tangible cost, a huge one actually. So let's take a look at the receipt. Check out this bill. According to SHRM data, the cost to the U.S. economy over just 5 years is a staggering $223 billion. And that number comes from toxic cultures, people constantly quitting, wasted energy, and erratic leadership that makes the market volatile. All of it points to a very real risk of companies going bankrupt. In this chart, it lays it all out, plain and simple. It draws a straight line from the addiction to the disaster. So, a gaming addiction can lead to that God mode style, which creates a toxic culture. A social media addiction leads to swipe management, where a strategy changes on a whim. And that always-on culture, it creates reactive, aggressive leaders that just kill innovation.
Whew. Okay, I know that was a lot to take in, but you can't just diagnose a problem without offering a cure, right? So let's talk solutions. Let's talk about how we can hit system restore. The game plan to fix this is kind of a four-pronged attack, a way to restore that human-centric leadership we talked about. As you can see, it's all about rebuilding governance, empathy, our sense of pace, and our ability to think deeply. So let's break these down. First up, corporate governance. Companies need to start treating focus as a precious resource and screen time as a real risk factor. Next, digital empathy training. This is about reminding leaders that behind every spreadsheet cell, there's a human being. Third, slow leadership. We have to reframe unplugging as a strategic strength, not a weakness. And finally, deep work, making internet-free monk mode a protected, normal part of the workday. And if you're looking for a practical tool you can start using tomorrow, this is it, the 6 thinking hats. It's a brilliant technique that forces you to slow down and analyze a problem from 6 totally different angles: facts, feelings, risks, benefits, creativity, and process. It is a direct antidote to that impulsive, dopamine-fueled thinking. So when you boil it all down, the choice for leaders today isn't about downloading a new productivity app or jumping on some management fad. It's about deciding to play a completely different game.
And this image, it just says everything, doesn't it? Game over, on the illusion. The new game is reality. Leaders who are stuck in God mode are on a collision course with the real world. The future belongs to those who log out, who reject the easy shortcuts, and who get back to the wisdom, empathy, and focus of what you might call human mode. Which leaves us with one last really important question, and this one's for you. As you think about your own habits, your own focus, your own style, is it time to reboot your leadership operating system?